What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam, hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight, man. Hope you guys have had a great Monday, week 15 of the 2022 fantasy football season. The 2022 NFL season is going to be underway. Well, not until Thursday night, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's here. It's here. The playoffs, the fantasy playoffs are here. I mean, we still got the Cardinals-Patriots game wrapping up. Not a lot of action there. We can talk about that game in a couple moments here. But ultimately, man, guys, it is playoff time. It is fantasy football playoff time for a majority of us, right? I mean, some people did start in week 14. Some people start in week 16. But like 90% of you guys are starting your fantasy playoffs here in week 15. So you guys know what time it is, baby. Time for some live week 15 fantasy Q&A. Start, sits, ads, drops, waiver wire, roster confidence, roster non-confidence, who you're going to start this week, who you're going to sit this week, whatever it may be. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football, but most importantly, I want to know, did you guys make the fantasy playoffs? Did you guys get a ticket to the ship or not? Because I ended up making it in half my leagues. I should have made it in 75% of my leagues, but just half my leagues. I've got to show you guys what happened to me tonight. I talked a little bit about it on Discord, but it's awful. It's awful. So let me know what happened, guys, or let me know if you guys made the playoffs. Let's have some fun tonight, man. It's a little bit of a fun stream, but of course some week 15 fantasy Q&A as well. I just can't believe that we're at this point in the season. I can't believe that the playoffs are already here. It's absolutely, I mean, it's crazy. It really is. So let's talk some fantasy football. Let me know how things went for you guys here in week 14 and what's going on with you guys in terms of the fantasy playoffs. All right, so I am going to show you guys what happened to me because it is literally tragic. Okay, so here was my circumstance, right? Okay, it's kind of confusing. So I know you guys can't see everything on the screen, but I was the 7th overall seed, right? Steven is the 8th overall seed. Steven's cousin, or no, Steven's uncle, I'm sorry. Colin is the 9th overall seed. Then we've got our boy Patrick as the 6th overall seed, right? We're all 6 and 7, okay? So I needed to win, and it didn't really matter if Steven or Colin won their matchups as long as I outscored them, right? On top of that, I could not have Patrick win his matchup, okay? So that's all that really had to happen, right? And all of that happened. Essentially, I won my matchup. I had a really good week. I outscored Patrick. I outscored Steven. I outscored Colin. So everything was looking good going into tonight, right? Because all I needed was Patrick to lose his matchup. And what happened after that? Well, Patrick is down by, or up by 9 points. Between 9 and 10 points, right? And then our boy Dusty has Kyler Murray as his starter. I needed Kyler Murray to have 10 fantasy points to make the fantasy playoffs in this league. Kyler gets hurt on the third play of the game. Insane, dude. It's ridiculous. You literally can't make this up, man. It's absolutely crazy. So, yeah. Unless I'm missing something here, I'm out of the playoffs here. It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. So, going into today, going into tonight, I was like, yeah, I'm a lock. I'm in, right? And then it's just like, you just can't make it up, man. It's just crazy. But other than that, I'm in the playoffs in all my leagues, except for the Catch Fam League, of course, with you guys. So, still a pretty good season overall. Still pretty successful at the end of the day. So yeah, just crazy. I had to share that with you guys. I really did. So Let's do it. All right, so let's hop in the live chat. Let's get right to it. Pray, what's going on, man? Glad to see you got that bye week. Spencer, what's good, my guy? Great to have you in the chat. What's up, man? Pray, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get the highest scoring team this week and most efficient manager. Who cares, Pray? Only thing that matters is you got to go win that championship, man. Bully McGuire was good, bro. #1 seed. Let's get it. Chase, you got to check out League 2. Let me see here. Reverse. All right, so let's see what happened in League 2. Wow, some high-scoring teams for sure. So Talks #1, Emil's #2, Mr. Sarcastic #3, Slade, Bunny Hop, Chase Brown at #6, but you had 4 teams at 8 and 5, one team at 9 and 4, and Mr. Sarcastic. So Chase, you lost. Mr. Sarcastic won, but hold on. Bunny Hop and Slade. Slade won. Bunny Hop won. Did you make it in? Or am I missing something? Because you lost to Emil, which doesn't really, I guess it didn't matter. I guess you still got the 6th overall spot. Yeah. So even though you lost, you're still in, right? Wow, Emil killing it. 191. Senior Cinnabon at 182. Big points over in League 2. Crazy, man. Crazy. Shout out to Chase, man. Let's go. All right, let's see here. Spence got 3 tickets to the $25 Best Ball Mania 3. Had 6 entries. And win that millie. Dude, I haven't even checked mine. I think I have like 1. Ooh, hold on. I'm going to check on the other screen. Let's see here. Live, Best Ball. Oh, I have 4 teams. Let's go. I have 4 squads. Dude, J-Dubs has some really good squads going into the tournament, man. Oh, no. I have 1 team with Kyler. But I got Joe Burrow on that team, so I'm good. But that was kind of scary. Okay. I just want to make sure I've got Joe Burrow on 2 of these squads. I don't know how this team made it. It has Stafford, Wilson, and Carson Wentz. Like, this was a #1 team. Eckler, Connor, Jacobs, Pierce, Michael Carter, Debo, McLaurin, Metcalf, Hopkins. I don't know. I think this team's really bad too. Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Trevor Lawrence. But I got Jacobs, Harris, Zeke, Henderson, Robinson, Devontae Adams, Sutton, Devonta Smith, Christian Kirk, Tyler Boyd. I mean, that team's still pretty bad. Taysom Hill and Hunter Henry, but I like the team. Both the teams I have with Joe Burrow are pretty decent. We'll see what happens, man. I'm not expecting to win anything. Okay, Chase just saying you got so lucky to make the playoffs. Let's go, bro. Hollywood going to be an L. No Kyler. I think I can agree with that. Chase made playoffs in all 3 of my leagues. Let's go. Love to see it, man. Big Dog, Fields or Herbert, week 15. I'll go Herbert. He's playing really good football right now. You know, and I mean, it's really close. It's just Tennessee's secondary has been so bad. The Chargers are going to have a field day. I mean, Trevor Lawrence just had 33 fantasy points against them. And I like Fields a lot, but it's a little bit of a stiffer matchup for Fields this week against Philadelphia. I still think Fields is going to have a good day, but I take the upside of Herbert. He's going to be slinging that thing. Ghost Hunter made the playoffs in 1 of my 2 leagues. Let's go, bro. Let's go for the ship. Let's get it. Bully, Fantasy Gods love me. Let's go. High upside, low risk. Locked in the first round bye. Thank you, John, for all your hard work. Of course, bro. Of course. Glad to hear it, man. Let's get it. Yeah, Spencer, that's Steven named the league, so you can only imagine. Big Dog started 1-4, finishing 8-6 with the 3rd seed. Let's go. You love to see it, bro. Pray, I'm kind of mad I have a bye week in week 15. My team has such good matchups, so you never know, man. Matchups can look good and then really smack you in the face. So that bye week is always a good thing to have. Mark, I'm in the playoffs for 1 of my leagues. Let's go. 4th seed out of 12. My question, Justin Fields against the Eagles or Deshaun Watson against the Ravens? I still go Justin Fields here. Just you know, still good upside with Fields. I still think he's a quarterback we want to start this week. Justin Fields, 17.3, or excuse me, Deshaun Watson, 17.3 fantasy points in week 14 against Cincinnati, 276 passing yards, a touchdown, an interception, 33 yards on the ground. Definitely improved upon that week 13 performance, and this is Watson's first game at home, but I still like the Ravens defense a little bit too much to go with Watson over Justin Fields. Maybe Watson over some other quarterbacks, but not a guy who holds that upside like Fields. Yeah, there's some interesting names in that league for sure. I kind of avoided pulling up that league on live stream, but it is what it is. End of the season, right? Kind of. Mr. Jones, 4 leagues. 2 12-2s, 11-3, 10-4. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Let's go, bro. Let's go. It's all good, big dog. That's just how it goes, man. That's how it goes. Prey kind of sucks for Kyler. Tore his ACL in a game when his team was already eliminated from the playoffs. Yeah, and like it's a really, really bad time of the year to tear his ACL because he's not going to be available until you know, long into next season. So it's tough. What's up, Emil? Good to see you. Jerry, what's up, man? Good to have you guys. Got some OG members of the Catch in here. What's up, guys? So Steven got the number 2 seed in the Catch Fam League. Number 1, of course he did. He got lucky. Steven actually had a pretty good year. I mean, I guess we got to give it to him, you know. I just got, oh my gosh. My team is awful. Wait, is Steven's quarterback Kyler? Hold on. Why can't I find Steven's team? There we go. Oh, it is. Wow. Oh. Man, I started New England's defense. I didn't even realize that they had 21 points. Wow. Okay, so who can Steven go to the waiver wire for? Tannehill? Daniel Jones? Yeah, he's going to have to start Brock Purdy. Crazy. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Poor Steven getting roasted in the chat. Chase, he had Stevenson. All he needed was 7+ and he got hurt. Oh, I didn't even look at the exact matchup. Okay. Hey, man, he got it, and that's all that matters. Shout out to Jay Speezy, though. That's our guy. Santos, what's up, man? Down 18 points in a 2-week playoff. Still hoping Hopkins gets some points. I think Hopkins will be fine. I mean, at least, like, Colt McCoy can throw the football a little bit, you know. I don't worry as much about Hopkins as I do about Hollywood Brown. Spence, one of the best ball mania 3s. I'm in first and you're in 11th. Let's go. I do need to take a look at all the Catch Fam matchups too, because we have like a lot of them. You know, maybe we can do that at the end of the draft. Let's see. Spence, I have one that I feel great about. Herbert, Henry, Chubb, Jacobs, Cooper, Christian Watson. Let's go. Andrews and Goddard. Feel pretty good about that one. Looks good to me, man. Let's see. Jerry, combined, I have 20 wins, 5 losses in the Catch families combining this season and last season. Dude, you should absolutely keep track of that like forever. Because I don't have the brain capacity to do that, but you should absolutely keep track of it. So we can have a record of it, dude. That's awesome. I know, man. I'm kind of scared of Jerry in the playoffs this year. I mean, I'm not in the playoffs, of course. In the Catch Fam League of all leagues. I'm not in the playoffs, but in the Catch Fam Auction League, I'm in. So, but Jerry's team, ever since Jerry drafted that team this year, I was like, man, this team is kind of scary. Back to back, Jerry. I hope you beat Steven Spence. I really hope you do. J-Dubs, what's good, my dude? 10, Best Ball Mania 3, advancing. Let's go. I love to see it. Love to see it, guys. You guys win $1 million. Just keep me in mind. Like, we're cool. We're friends, you know. V, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Who would Steven go up against in the second round? We'll have to check. J-Dub still undefeated in the IDP League. Let's go. Yeah, Pierre Strong looked really good. Like, watching this game tonight, the one regret I have is making the way. I mean, I always make the waiver wire video on Sunday night and try and get it out there early, but Pierre Strong is going to be a waiver wire addition. But the one thing we do want to keep in mind is, is Ramondre Stevenson going to miss week 15? And on top of that, is Damian Harris going to miss week 15? Regardless, with the way Pierre Strong played tonight, I think he definitely holds fantasy value. Just 5 rushing attempts, guys. 70 rushing yards, 14 yards per carry, a touchdown, 2 receptions for 20 receiving yards. Definitely a player who gets the Las Vegas Raiders next week and that we're going to have to keep our eyes on. Gets the Cincinnati Bengals and Miami after that, but you would assume at some point Stevenson's going to be back or Damian Harris will be back. But we do know that the Patriots aren't afraid to give the football to multiple running backs. So definitely a good point to bring up, V. Mark, what's up, man? Start Deshaun Watson or Mike White if he plays. I like Mike White more, but I do think that Watson's okay. I mean, like I said this going into this week, like I think Watson will improve upon his play each week, but I like this Baltimore Ravens defense right now. So, I don't think Watson holds a crazy high ceiling, but at the same time, I think he's an okay play. I do personally like the game script for Mike White a little bit more. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on things with Mike White's injuries. Rib injuries, just got absolutely battered in that game against the Buffalo Bills. Had to go to the hospital, make sure he didn't have like a ruptured spleen, but it looks like it's just some probably bruised ribs. So he has a good shot to play. Just feels like a a better overall game script for Mike White against the Detroit Lions. Should be tossing that thing around, dueling it out with Jared Goff. Ghost Hunter, Deshaun or Carr this week? I mean, like, that might be a situation where I go with Watson. Derek Carr really disappointing last week against the Rams. 4.5 fantasy points. Could have cost you a ticket to the fantasy playoffs. I thought he was going to have a pretty safe floor. A really, really bad game. Surprisingly, his second worst game of the year. He had 2.9 points in week 8 against the Saints. But, the Patriots had a lot of injuries tonight, including 1 or 2 on the defensive side of things. So I do kind of worry about, that Patriots defense. But at the same time, like, they look pretty good. So it's kind of a tough call, But we had, like, some key players in that secondary go down, which could definitely benefit Derek Carr and company. Excuse me. Jonathan Jones. Wait, not Jonathan Jones. What's the freaking rookie corner's name? Well, he got hurt. Jack Jones. Jack Jones got hurt, and then on top of that, one of the McCourtys got hurt too. Are both McCourtys still on this team? Well, Devin McCourty got a little bit banged up. So, keep that in mind. That could help Carr, but it's just tough with the way the Raiders looked last week. But the thing to think about with the Raiders this week is, like, they have to win this game, in order to keep their playoffs hopes alive. So I think that this could be a good game script for Derek Carr. So close there. I think Watson's okay, but I don't think Carr's going to be nearly as bad as he did last week. Suave, what's good, bro? Wish we could call in. Something I've thought about for the future, for sure. Good to see you, Suave. Pretty good. Brock Purdy looked pretty good, Ghost Hunter. LeBron's brain, what's up, man? How are you? Made the playoffs. Let's go. Brock Purdy to the moon, says J-Dubs. Making playoffs in the auction league. Let's go, man. Love to hear it. Gonna be a fun little playoff. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, in our auction league, I could have made the second overall. I could have gone up to the second seed. Hold on. I think if I won today, I don't think I would have made it anyways. Because I needed Prodigy to lose, but also I still would have had less points on the season than him. It would have been close, but now I'm just going to drop to, like, I wasn't going to get the bye week either way, so it didn't really matter that I lost. I don't exactly know who it's going to pin me against next week. Senior Cinnabon, Godfather, or J-Dub, so it should be fun, man. Should be a good time. I'm excited for the Auction League playoffs. Let's go. V, my bench is pretty much the blue tent. Walker, Stevenson, Sutton, and Jeff Wilson. Yikes. Mark, Brady seems frustrated with the Bucs. A little early to say. Do you think he'll go back to the Pats or another team next year? I have no idea what Tom Brady is going to do. But, I mean, I've heard all... I mean, like, going into this week, I read, like, an article that was saying, like, it's time for the 49ers to consider picking up Tom Brady after they passed on him in, like, 2 opportunities. And I mean, they got Brock Purdy. They don't need another quarterback ever again. I mean, I don't know, man. I personally, like, if he doesn't return to the Bucs, I don't think he's going back to the Patriots. They're rolling with mac and cheese and Bailey Zappi. Like, I don't think he's going back to the Patriots. I think it'll be another team if it's not the Bucs. And yeah, I agree that I don't think it's going to be the Bucs. I think it's either retirement or completely different team. But I won't be surprised if Brady plays another year or 2 in the league. He's not playing that bad of football. The play calling, he's not playing great football. But ultimately, like, when we look at Brady on the season, you know, fantasy aside, right? I mean, he's still your QB 15 in fantasy. You know? Doesn't mean much, but over 3,500 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. The touchdowns definitely much lower. He's also had 2 rushing touchdowns in every season since 2018. He is 0 this year. Keep in mind, those are definitely like quarterback sneaks. They're not like Jalen Hurts rushing touchdowns, you know, or Josh Allen rushing touchdowns, but still. The touchdowns are definitely down, but like he's still on pace for probably close to 30 touchdowns, depending on, I mean, 26, 28 touchdowns on the year and over 4,000 yards, you know? So, like, it's pretty crazy to think about at the end of the day, man. Gosh. Tom Brady has been in the league so long that sleeper doesn't even go back to his rookie season. It just goes back to 2009. I really won't be surprised if Brady plays like 2 or 3 more years in the league. All right, Jerry. John gave me a ton of credit for the team I drafted. Got to shout out to OG. That's right, bro. Spent 370 at stake and I'm at 395 winnings. Is very good. One good ticket. I'm looking at a very profitable year this year on Underdog. Let's go, bro. Let's go. Yeah, Jerry took a really good risk with that, the 0 RB, especially going 0 RB and having Tony Pollard, Damian Harris for a portion of the season when he wasn't playing too poorly. And I feel like there was one other running back, Jerry, on your squad. Oh, like Melvin Gordon gave you some production. I mean, like he just found ways to get through. But Tony Pollard coming up for you has been huge. I mean, huge, man. I feel like you had a running back that got hurt too. I'm not thinking of, but maybe I'm just wrong. Oh, Michael Carter. That's who I'm thinking of. He gave you some good production. So, and it's like it just hasn't really mattered, like especially with Pollard coming on, because you got Josh Allen, Adams, Kirk, and Diggs, and now you got Mike Williams back and healthy. You know, it's just a stupid team, and Dalton Schultz hanging around too. So it's just a good squad, bro. Ghost Runner, why are you more worried for Hollywood? I think the offense will be mostly the same, and since Hollywood is a short pass guy, I think he may get more opportunities. I mean, that's a fair way of looking at it. It just feels like, I guess what I was kind of referencing was more the chemistry between Kyler and Hollywood Brown, and the fact that I feel like Colt McCoy still has decent enough chemistry with DeAndre Hopkins when we've seen McCoy play this year. But in terms of like the play calling, I mean, it could benefit Hollywood for sure. V, Purdy or Captain? You like that, Kirk Cousins. So Kirk gets the Colts. I actually could see this game being kind of a bad game script for Kirk Cousins and the Vikings running the football a lot. It kind of depends on what version of the Colts we get next week. Hard to say. Brock Purdy gets Seattle. Once again, this could be a game where let's just hand off to CMC. We know that Seattle's weakness is their run defense, although they looked pretty bad overall last week. I don't really think you can go wrong here. Pretty similar floors and ceilings for the two. I would say Kirk is a safer option. Purdy maybe gives you a little bit more upside, though. Mr. Sarcastic was good, my guy. Anyone in Catch Family #1, pick up quarterbacks so Stephen can't pick anyone good. Part of me wants to do that. I did, like, last week, I just picked up, I don't need a, I've got Jalen Hurts, who's been wasted on my awful team, but I picked up Mike White, like, just because I could. Like, it wasn't, I just wanted to pick him up. Watch your 6, what's up, man? Ramondre got hurt on my den ice for the playoffs. I've lost 6 straight now, was 9-0 to start. Ooh. Do you know if you're in? Or are you waiting until tomorrow? Is there a lot of things at stake? Hope you get in, my dude. Mr. Cass, would you drop Watson if you have Cousins? Can pick up A.J. Dillon. RB1 is Swift and ETN. I'm assuming it's Deshaun Watson. Yeah, because you have Cousins. Yeah, I probably would. Like, if you just have to ask yourself the question, like, are you going to start Deshaun Watson over Kirk Cousins in any of the upcoming weeks? Watson gets the Ravens, the Saints, and the Commanders. It's like, it's kind of a tough schedule to look at. It's not the best schedule. Like, these defenses have really strong points, but they also have kind of faulty secondaries. And I could see Watson playing poorly in these games. I could also see Watson playing well and getting some good garbage time points in those games as well. Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, gets the Colts, the Giants, and the Packers. And, like, we know for a fact that the Vikings are going to be securing some sort of playoff seeding in these next 3 games. So, like, these are games where the Vikings offense is going to have to be playing at their best potential. So, I'd probably go Kirk Cousins. Feels a little bit better for me. If you want to go out and get Dillon, I think it's okay. Like, if you're not really trusting your running back core there. ETN's got a tough strength of schedule coming up. A.J. Dillon, 17 or more fantasy points in his last 2 games. Swift, you can't really trust in terms of injury, so I think it's okay. Yeah. J-Dub, stat of the week, pick 10 in the Underdog Best Ball League, had a 57 advance rate. 10 end picks don't mean ish. Wow. Wow. That is kind of crazy. Ghost Hunter, ETN or Monty both face kind of tough matchups, but they're the best I got outside of CMC. Yeah, CMC and Derrick Henry are going to be Week 15 winners. I would play Montgomery. Philadelphia's been good against the run overall in the season, and they got kind of banged up or kind of mediocre for a couple games, and then they've improved again, but I just still like Montgomery. I really do worry about Travis Etienne this week. He's a player, going up against the Dallas Cowboys. The one way to look at that game is, like, it just depends on how competitive that game script goes. Like, we look at the Cowboys last week, like, they allowed a competitive game against the Texans, which we were not expecting. I'm going to bet that just due to the bad matchup, like, you look at the last 2 weeks against Tennessee, 3.2 points for ETN, 7.6 against the Detroit Lions in Week 13. Worth noting, both of those games were away games. It's a home game with Dallas visiting them, but I just feel better about Montgomery. But I think you could make an argument for either, All right, watch your 6. My 3 teams this year, 15-0, 13-2, 9-6. Let's go, bro. 15-0 is really hard to do. Really, really, really hard to do. So kudos to you, man. George lost Higgins, Walker, Pierce. Have Saquon injured. Stuck playing Evans, Jamal Williams, Darius Slayton if they all miss. Going against Devontae, Amon-Ra, Lockett, FML. I hope Higgins is back for you, man. I think Pierce is going to play. I actually think Pierce is a decent play this week. And I think Saquon will be fine. Kenneth Walker has got a strong chance to play as well. So I think you're completely screwed here. Purdy over Brady for sure. Tebow over Tua. Yeah, I'll have to try and post some of my best ball teams on Discord for you, J-Dubs. Post my best ball mania 3 teams in Discord. Let me see. Spence. I can't believe this season is, like, over. Like, that is just, it's blowing my mind, dude. Really blowing my mind. All right, Spence, what do you got here? Oops. Herbert, Tannehill, Malik, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, Dylan Algier, Cooper Boyd, Watson, Hardman, Jefferson, Pickens, Bell, Duvernay, Andrews, Goddard. Yeah, that's a good squad, bro. That's a pretty good squad. Then we got Herbert, Wentz, Jimmy G, JT, Jacobs, Pierce, Robinson, Ingram, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, dude. That Charger stack. Smith, Ayuk, Lockett, Watson, Palmer. Whoo! George Kittle, Gesicki, Everett. I don't know, man. That team's got real potential, Spence. Like, the running backs ended up very solid with JT, Jacobs, and Pierce. Then, I mean, as long as Herbert's healthy, and like you have all the stack action in the world with Allen and Williams, and you got Devonta Smith, Lockett, Ayuk, and Watson, and then Palmer as well. Then the upside of Kittle, but once again the stack action with Everett dispense. That team is like that team's got really strong potential. Herbert, Matt Ryan, Mayfield, Eckler, Akers, Sanders, Singletary, J. Rob and B. Rob, Keenan Allen, Johnson, Hopkins, Cooper, Boyd, JJ, Duvernay, Andrews, Mike Gesicki. Another really solid entry. But Spence, I would feel really good about this squad right here, man. If the Chargers like really put on these next coming weeks as they're continuing to stay within the playoffs, like dude, this team is really good, especially if Kittle like keeps up at a really good pace. I don't know, man. I am like pretty jealous of that squad. That's a really good looking team. Spencer, just remember, like, we're cool, man. Like, we're boys, if you win like $1 million, like, I mean, like, we've always been best friends. Just remember that, man. Let's see. John, what's up, man? Locked in as the 3 seed and 12 man. Let's go. Oh, Jerry, we'll talk to you soon, bro. You might already be gone, but I appreciate you, bro. Have a good night, Jerry. Good luck on your finals, bro. John, $500 to first place, $100 to second. Crossing my fingers for you, man. Watcher 6, I'm 431 points ahead of everyone. All right, let's go, bro. Let's go. Looks like you're in, man. Let's get it. You think Goddard will be limited at all against the Bears, man? I'm always a little bit hesitant about starting a player like in their first week back from injury, but I'd take the chance on Goddard purely because the tight end position has been such an absolute disaster this year. So I'm not too worried about Goddard. Yeah, J-Dubs has some really good best ball squads as well. Ghost Hunter, pick one for flex. ETN, Devonta, Zay Jones, Rashad White, Hollywood, or Burks if he's healthy. I got to go Devonta Smith. I think that the Eagles, kind of keep their foot on the pedal. It's a good matchup against the Bears. I continue to play Devonta Smith as a really strong flex. Joe, what's good, bro? Made the playoffs, but lost Kyler. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people made the playoffs, either made the playoffs and lost guys like Kyler or maybe Ramondre Stevenson tonight. Or, like, I think a lot of people didn't make the playoffs due to Kyler Murray, due to Ramondre Stevenson. James Conner went down for a period. That was scary. So it was kind of a scary night for fantasy football, man. But, of course, like, I mean, I hope Kyler and especially Kyler and Ramondre Stevenson have as quick as recovery as possible. But tonight was kind of scary for fantasy football. All right, Joe, other quarterbacks are Mike White, Russell Wilson. Will White be healthy versus Detroit after the pounding he took this week? I think he's got a really good shot. A lot of quarterbacks kind of play through rib injuries and everything. So I think he's got a good shot. I think he's a good stream if he's healthy. Russell Wilson will be in concussion protocol, so he's a player to take a look at as well, or like to be a little bit cautious about as well. George, don't think I could play Kenneth Walker even if he starts. Would probably be on a snap count and going against the best defense in the league. Can make the same argument for Pierce, but with Chiefs. Yeah, Walker is a little bit scary, but like we do know that the Seahawks like to run the football quite a bit. But you know, with him going up against the Niners and not having a ton of PPR upside, not nearly as good of a start, for sure. Spence, that team is nice, bro. It's nice. I appreciate that, Spence. I'll just it'll go towards the channel, bro. I swear. And you'll just be like a permanent member of the channel, you know. That's true. I could make a video. My subscriber won Best Ball Mania 3. And you know, I feel like we probably drafted in that same draft, you know. But we'll see what happens. I'd just be happy. On all seriousness, I'd just be happy as hell if you won the best ball tournament. That'd be freaking crazy. Watcher 6, I got Hill, JJ, Kelsey, Henry, Stevenson, Allen, Hurts, Goddard, AJ Brown, Tyler Bass, Tucker, Dallas, Niners defense. Holy cannoli. Well, yeah, that makes sense for a 14-0 squad. Let's go. Can already see my first YouTube video, how I won $1 million playing fantasy football. That'd be extremely hype, dude. I would love for you to have a YouTube channel and to win $1 million. Ghost Hunter also just joined the Discord. Let's go, bro. Shout out to Ghost Hunter. Welcome to the Discord, fam. John Simmons, Goddard or Schultz this week? I probably go Schultz. It's very, very close. Like I said, I'm not too worried about Goddard necessarily. Coming back from injury and everything, I think he'll probably be good to go. And the tight end position's been such a wasteland. But overall, I go Schultz just because Goddard is coming back from the injury. You know, and Schultz is probably just as safe as Dallas Goddard. So both are good starts. Spence, all my first place entries, you were in the draft. See, dude, I helped you out. I didn't. If you do win anything, I didn't draft the players. I let you draft all the good players. You know? So that's how we can look at it. Joe, which two running backs do you like next week? Najee, Connor, Etienne, Pierce, and half PPR. I like Connor. I continue to like James Conner as a start. He does get the Denver Broncos. Not the best matchup, but James Conner tends to play his best football when the Cardinals are playing from behind, which is very consistently. So I think Connor is fine. It's close between Najee and Pierce as well. I think that Pierce is actually a pretty safe start. I know he's got the ankle injury, but he gets Kansas City. They're not very good against the run. What I worry more about there is the game script. Do the Texans just abandon the run because they're so behind? So on the other hand, you got Najee Harris. I think is probably the next best option. He gets the Carolina Panthers. It's not the best matchup. It's not the worst. The Panthers looked good this past week. I think that the Panthers defense will probably play pretty well this week. But once again, I'm a little bit worried about Etienne going up against the Cowboys as well. So I go with Connor, and then I think there's an argument for maybe any of the other three running backs. But if it was me, I'd probably have Connor, and call me crazy, but Najee in. J-Dub's the offseason drafting every Friday helped a ton, though. So good times, man. It feels so long ago. Spencer, my good luck charm. Let's go, bro. Joe, who should I play at wide receiver 2? Amon-Ra or Mike Williams? Tough question. You gotta go Mike Williams. It's so close. But you just have to imagine Amon-Ra gets Sauce Gardner in the Jets defense. It's a tough matchup. And on the other hand, Mike Williams gets the Tennessee Titans secondary. The worst secondary in the league, maybe the second worst, but from a fantasy perspective, that is. I mean, they have just gotten absolutely torched the last 2 weeks, so I'll go Mike Williams. But Amon-Ra, even in a bad matchup, can still ball out. Watcher 6, Knight or Stevenson in case Stevenson misses time. Knight. I think Zonovan Knight, who I was a little bit worried about last week, is not a player to be worried about anymore. I mean, he's just playing good football, and Michael Carter really struggled last week. So I would probably go with Zonovan Knight. I think he's gonna have a good week against the Lions too. The Lions have improved in terms of their run defense, but I still go with Knight. Gob, thanks, John. I made it in 3 leagues. Let's go. Cotter and Henry for me tonight. My starters that are hurt now: Goddard, Debo, Stevenson, Harris, Moore, and Cooper and Walker. Yeah, tough times in terms of the injury bug. But hey, you made it in 3 leagues. You got a ticket to the ship. Nothing's over. Let's go. Yeah, Zonovan Knight should be rostered at this point, guys. Like Spence says, if Zonovan is on waivers, he's #1 pickup. Like at this point, we're not worried about Ty Johnson. We're not worried about Carter. Like I think it was like fair to have those concerns last week, and James Robinson not going to be a factor, essentially. But Ty Johnson didn't even log a single snap in Week 14 after having 10 or more fantasy points in Week 12 and Week 13. Then Michael Carter really struggled. Just 5 touches on the ground, 5 rushing yards. He did have 6 targets, 3 receptions for 15 receiving yards, but like it was all Zonovan Knight, 17 touches on the ground, 71 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, 2 receptions for 6 receiving yards. And he just got to look like Michael Carter, still a really young running back. So like, if you just think about this backfield next year, you got Breece Hall, Zonovan Knight, and Michael Carter. Like, this is just going to be a Jets team that is really set at the position. What's up with the ETN? 2 really bad game scripts for Travis Etienne, and 2 bad matchups as well. Detroit, that was just a game that turned into a shootout, right? And that game did not benefit Etienne whatsoever. And on top of that, Trevor Lawrence left that game for a bit. I mean, it was not a good game script for Travis Etienne and company. And then last week, once again, it was a very tough matchup against the Tennessee Titans, and the Jaguars were just slinging the football all over the place. They played to the Tennessee Titans' weaknesses, and it was a good game plan, but just did not include Travis Etienne. And I'm worried about him because he gets the Cowboys this week, then he gets the Jets next week, and then I think he tears it up in Week 17, the fantasy championship against the Houston Texans. John, do you think Tyreek and Amari will play this week? Probably a little too early to make that call, but I think both players will do whatever they can, certainly, to play. Amari Cooper with the hip injury, I feel a little bit more concerned about. Like, we weren't super enthusiastic about Amari Cooper going into Week 14 because he had that stinger and because of the passing game not looking like they had the most chemistry between Watson and company in Week 13. I'd be a little bit more concerned about Cooper, believe it or not, because like Tyreek Hill was still able to play through injury. And from what I've read, he should be good to go in Week 15, and I think they'll just rest him. But this is a really big game. It's going to be a cold game. It's probably going to be an uncomfortable game. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is going to be 100%, but he's still going to be Tyreek Hill. He doesn't have to be 100%. So I think Hill has a better shot. Big Trev needed 13 from Kyler and Ramondre combined to clinch a bye, now dropped to the 5th. Yeah, those 2 guys just really hurting us from a fantasy perspective. But he still made it in. That's all that matters. DPJ and Njoku might be scary with Watson getting that rust off. Yeah, both looked really good last week for sure. Let's see. Brandon, sit Walker this week and play Pierce, Monty, or Carter. If you're going to sit Walker, I would sit him for Montgomery. Go Monty, Pierce, then Carter, Brandon. Bills defense or Eagles defense? I'm probably going with the Eagles. It's kind of a tough call, but I just can't imagine starting a defense against this Miami Dolphins unit right now. Even though they've been kind of playing a little bit of a lower ceiling in the past 2 or so weeks, I feel far more comfortable starting the Philadelphia Eagles overall. Worried that Hurts will sit Week 17 with the Eagles locked in. If there's one team that's going to hurt us at the end of the year, it's the Eagles. Joe, been starting Fearmouth all year. Is it time to switch to Njoku? Thanks for the advice. Of course, bro. That's what we're here for, man. I still go Pat Fearmouth. Pat's my guy. I can't give up on him. He's been far too productive on the season. But Njoku's been very good too. Like, he's your tight end 7. He's missed like 3 games this year and had like 2 stinker games. So I still like Njoku. He gets the Ravens. It's not too bad of a matchup. Not the best, not the worst. But I just continue to believe in Pat Freiermuth as a weekly basis or weekly starter on a regular basis, right? I mean, he's your tight end 5, so he's not too drastically far apart from Njoku. And on top of that, like, Mitchell Trubisky might be starting next week if Kenny Pickett cannot play due to the concussion he suffered. So Mitchell Trubisky likes Pat Freiermuth. He likes the tight end position. So it's very close. I think Freiermuth feels a little bit safer, and Njoku gives you more upside, though. So Big Trev, Higgins goose-egged me. I actually had that happen, too. Still won my matchup, but I had that happen. Had DPJ and Ingram on the bench. Yikes. Yeah, Zach Taylor. Second time he's done that with Higgins. You know, it's like, what in the world? All right, let's see. What's up, Elliot? Good to see you, bro. Ghost Hunter, have a good night, bro. Mr. Jones, would you drop James Cook for Chuba? I got Chubb, K9, White, left. Shake my head, PPR. Yes. I don't know that we can trust James Cook. At least with Chuba, we're getting production even with him behind Foreman. Ricky, start 3 this week. Eckler, Jacobs, Pollard, Jones, Sanders. Whew. Gotta go Eckler. Gotta go Jacobs. You just can't bench those guys. And you gotta go Pollard here. Jones should bounce back. I mean, it's not that he's bouncing back from anything, but just should, you know, feels like he's been gone because he was on bye week. But yeah, he should bounce back from the bye and still be just as productive as he's been. And then I love Miles Sanders this week. He's a great start. He's got a great matchup. But Eckler, Jacobs, Pollard for me. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you. I still feel like the worst pick of the year goes to Cam Akers overall. But Swift and A.J. Dillon, not bad calls. Spence and J-Dubs. Let's see. With Ritter possibly starting, does this help the ceiling on London? It's possible. We'll just have to wait and see. Can't be much worse than Mariota. PJ, rate my lineup for the playoffs. Josh Allen, Eckler, Pollard, Chase, Amon-Ra, Goddard, CeeDee. The Niners defense. I mean, come on, man. 10 out of 10. There's nothing wrong with this lineup. Maybe 9.5 with Goddard being his first game back from injury. E111, what's up, man? The guy needed to lose barely one because Stevenson went down. 4 to 5 playoff teams, thanks for your guys' help. Of course, bro. Glad to see you made it in a majority of your leagues. Let's go. Elliott, some gross running back matchups coming up. Chubb versus Baltimore, Knight and Carter versus surprisingly good Detroit. Defense, Monty versus Philly. Derrick Henry, mega 50 points, though. Cheers. Hope we're all playoff bound. 100%, man. Yeah, Henry's going to have a huge week. Henry and CMC just have stupid matchups. Mark Andrews has me really nervous hitting in the playoffs. I'd be really nervous about just about every tight end right now except for Travis Kelce. But, you know, the issue for Andrews is Tyler Huntley went down, right? And it's just kind of tough, you know, because Huntley had good chemistry with Andrews, and we got Anthony Brown out there, and it's just weird. We don't know what to expect going into week 15, but I think Lamar will be back at some point, hopefully. It's just weird. I mean, the Ravens are still in the playoffs right now, so I'd be nervous too, man, but it depends on who else you can go out and snag or who else you already have rostered. I think I should go with JT and Connor and ETN. I also have Wilson or Foreman. I'd probably go. I still think you can go ETN there. Foreman is worth considering too. You know, but what we need out of Foreman that we haven't gotten in the last 2 weeks is a touchdown. 8.5 points last week, 11.3 in week 12. And then we saw Blackshear and Chuba Hubbard steal a good amount of volume as well. So if you go with ETN, I think it's fine, but I don't love ETN's matchup this week. You know. George, Carolina defense or Broncos defense? I like Carolina this week, actually. I think that they're a pretty good start. Going up against probably Mitchell Trubisky and company. Not that I totally want to discredit the Steelers, I guess, with Trubisky at quarterback. The Broncos against the Cardinals with Colt McCoy is not a bad start either. Might go Broncos. But just keep in mind, the Broncos are a really good defense. They're not the best fantasy defense. It's very close. Go check out, Steven has his must-start defenses for Week 15. His defenses to stream out for the week. Go check out the video and drop Steven a comment. I'm sure he'd love to give you his input too. Broncos defense is going to be an interesting kind of maybe potential start this week. Yeah, Miles Sanders is a huge selection this year, J-Dubs. PJ, should I start Schultz over Goddard? I would, but probably after this week we can revert back to Goddard. Both are great starts. Schultz over Andrew. I'd probably go Schultz over Andrews, Eugene. Andrew, I got the bye week in my other league. Let's go. MPM, what's going on? I made it to the playoffs. Let's go. 8-6. Let's get it. Tonight's game really scared me because Ramondre got hurt. Luckily, I also had Connor who carried me to this week's finish line. Let's go. Postseason it is. Let's go. Let's go. Glad to hear it. Congrats. Eugene, how do you feel about Foreman versus Steelers defense? They gave up a lot of yards to Dobbins last week. Yes, I do like Eugene. Or excuse me, I do like Foreman, Eugene. But once again, like we saw Blackshear and Chuba Hubbard steal some of those touches and some of that volume this past week. So just keep that in mind. But Foreman's looked really good on the ground in the last 2 weeks. Just hasn't scored a touchdown. So if you have to start him, I think he's fine. But just keep in mind, like, a couple other running backs hanging around there. J-Dubs, are we doing a playoff best ball draft with the Catch fam this weekend? Potentially. I will have to... I definitely want to get some things going for the playoffs and everything. So, potentially for sure. I'd like to do that. Spencer. Yes. Totally off topic here. But I very tapped into that situation. And I know you're like really into like the finance world, and I am as well. And on quick tangent, like I'm just very afraid that like what's happening is that they're going through the process, and that process is like he deserved to be arrested. I highly doubt that even if he has to go to prison, like the dude's gonna be fine. Like you look at all the ties to different politicians that he has, and I mean it's all big game, man, and he definitely deserves to go to prison. But I just don't know like what's really gonna come out of it that should come out of it, if you get what I'm saying. So. But I was glad to see that he got arrested. I just have no faith in the system at the end of the day. So, but we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Elliot, Steelers and Seahawks defense felt so good only a few weeks ago. I know, right? Seahawks gave me a whopping 1 point this weekend. George, I traded Sanders for Mike Evans early in the season. Huge L for me. These things happen, bro. I traded Josh Jacobs for CEH, so don't feel too bad. Javon, what's up? Kyler down. Who to ride for the playoffs in Week 15? Mike White, Russ, or Danny Jones? I go Mike White as long as he plays. Okay, if he doesn't play, he could go Danny Dimes. Russ has a concussion, may or may not play. Gets a Cardinals, not the best match. I'm just not ready to trust Russ. You know, I get it, 26.5 fantasy points in Week 14. He also had 27.4 in Week 4, and in every game in between Week 4 and Week 14, he had 15 or less, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of those games with 11 or less. I just don't trust. I don't trust Russ. Can't trust Russ. I'd rather go with Mike White and, frankly, Danny Jones. Gob, would you flex Christian Watson over ETN 110,000%? Yes, I would. Shout to anyone hit to round 2 best ball tourneys this week. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that earlier. Let's go. Of course, some of you guys posting your best ball teams on Discord. We do have a thread on Discord for that as well. Yeah, white collar crimes never get their due justice. 110%, man. I don't even hold any crypto anymore. I kind of sold. I kind of liquidated just about everything like a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago. Just felt like it was the right time to get out. Haven't really felt like the market or the crypto market have been very stable or a good place to have your investments, unless you're ready to hold those investments for like 20, 30, 40 years. So kind of waiting for the market to potentially bottom out and then see what happens after that. Well, but you never know. You never know. Burrow or Fields? I still go Burrow. Still go Burrow here. Just playing way too good. But it's very close with Fields there. I think Burrow is the floor play. Fields kind of that upside play. You know? Both are fine. Both are definitely fine. If Mike White and Russell Wilson are out, who do I hang my playoff hopes on? Mac Jones, Colt McCoy. That's a tough one. I mean, I would say your guess is as good as mine, but Mac Jones gets the Raiders. You know? Oh, God. Mac Jones has had more than 13 fantasy points twice this season. Other than that, he's had 13.6 or less points in every game. Colt McCoy, on the other hand, has not reached more than 13.9 fantasy points. He gets Denver. I go Mac Jones. Gives you a chance. Darius Slayton, Elijah Moore, Gus Edwards. You know, Gus is kind of sneaky against the Browns, and he had 66 rushing yards last week, so I think Gus is okay. I still think Dobbins is going to be the lead back, although you can never trust that backfield. Slayton's got a sneaky matchup against the Commanders. I think that Darius Slayton will bounce back this week. I'd probably go Slayton. Elijah Moore is worth thinking about too, as long as Mike White's a quarterback. 12 points last week, and he gets the Lions, so Elijah Moore is worth thinking about. But I kind of like Slayton. I'd go Slayton or Moore, but an argument for any of those players. Dak or Watson this week? I go Dak. Still leaning with Prescott against the Jaguars over Watson. So, safe floor. Hopefully we see a little bit more of a competitive game script this week. GR, I've got Barkley and ETN. They're making me nervous, so I might play Foreman a few weeks in the playoffs. Should I try to get Dobbins or Cook? My playoffs are 4 weeks. Dobbins for sure. Dobbins for sure. I wouldn't be too nervous about Barkley. I know I said that going into last week, and he gave us, by Barkley standards, a stinker. But out of those two running backs, I'd definitely go Dobbins for sure. George, how worried are you about Saquon? With all my injuries, Saquon, Burrow, and A.J. Brown will need to carry me. I'm not too worried about Saquon. I get it. I know why you guys are worried. I gotta trust a player of that caliber, you know. Washington, Minnesota, and Indianapolis. It's not the best schedule. It's not the worst. Washington's going to be the worst matchup here in Week 15. So I just can't imagine benching a guy like that. That was my whole belief going into Week 14. I'm not too incredibly worried, but we obviously have to keep an eye on the injury. yeah, he definitely struggled against the Eagles, but also the Giants as a whole struggled against the Eagles. Like, the game script was awful. The game script absolutely abandoned the run game as well. That's a good point for you, though, GR. Barkley has Eagles in Week 18. Could be a very different environment for Barkley in that game. Could be a game where a lot of the Eagles starters aren't out there, and a game where the Giants are actually fighting to make the playoffs. So it could be actually good for Barkley. But, you're going to have options like ETN, Foreman, and Dobbins. That should certainly help out and help alleviate some of that nervousness as well. George, Seattle's kicker or Washington's purely based on upside. I got to go with Jason Myers. I know he struggled this past week. Or was it last week? I don't know, actually, because he gets the Niners. That might be a close call. Because the Niners are like the best team in the league from a fantasy perspective against opposing kickers. So that might be a close call. Then Joey Sly, who's an absolute beast, in case you guys are wondering, gets the Giants. I mean, the upside due to matchup probably lies with Joey Sly, but the better kicker on the season has been Jason Myers, so it's still close. Yeah, the Lions are in the hunt, dude. I'm rooting for the Lions. Let's go. Good night, Andrea. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, man, I'm on the Lions hype train right now. Why not? This is sad for players, but pick 2, Lenny, White, E.T., and Dylan Pacheco. I go Pacheco for sure. Pacheco gets the Texans. You got to start Pacheco this week. I'm not too concerned about the Buccaneers running backs. They both had 10 points last week. They get the Bengals. I think that game script benefits them. Once again, they get a lot of dump-offs, but the upside's not super high. ETN brings risk in a bad matchup, but brings some upside. I don't love ETN this week. A.J. Dillon is kind of interesting, too. I kind of like A.J. Dillon this week. He gets the Rams. Not the best matchup. I'd probably go Pacheco and Rachaad White, personally. But lots of arguments for all those players, man. Yeah, we got J-Mo out there now. Good O-line. The defense has definitely improved. The pass game looks good. The run game looks good. I hope they make it in, man. I don't think they'll go very far, but I just want to watch them compete. For sure. George, I know Kelsey's a stud, but the last 2 weeks are a little concerning. That's fair. That's fair. But you got to start. You can't bench Kelsey ever. He still had 11.1 points last week. He gets Houston, Seattle, Denver to finish the year. I think Kelsey will be just fine, man. You can't bench a guy like Kelsey. Eduardo, Pollard, Dobbins, Knight, Kamara. Which 2 should I roll with? Man. That's super close because all these guys are really good plays next week. Like, really good plays next week. Alvin Kamara's got a really good matchup against the Falcons. And as J-Dubs is alluding to in the chat, you've got Ingram out as well. So that's tough. Because I love Pollard this week and I love Dobbins this week. Both of them have beautiful matchups, like must-start plays for me. Pollard and Zeke should absolutely eat against the Jaguars like they have been in past weeks. Dobbins gets the Browns, the 3rd worst team in the league against opposing running backs. Bam Knights looked really good, but Kamara against the Falcons really hard to sit. I'd probably go Pollard and Dobbins, but if I'm not, I'm going Pollard and Kamara. Super close calls, man. All are really good options. Spence, I want the Packers to lose the rest of their games. Give me a better pick so we can try to get Marvin Harrison. Hopefully, man. I wouldn't mind seeing the Packers win out and make the playoffs either. See what happens. But if that's what you want, I want what you want, man. Just because you have a chance to win the best ball tournament, right? So. GR in playoffs week 16. Should I start Herbert against the Colts or Hurts against Dallas? Last time against Dallas was Hurts' lowest points of the season. I'd probably go I don't know, man. Like J-Dub's saying, what are the chances Jalen Hurts sits by the time week 17? I don't know. It has more to do with how many games have the Cowboys won at that point, and is there technically a way that the Cowboys can take the division, you know? How many games have the Eagles lost by then, you know? Like, it's just too hard to say until we're in week 17 to answer your question, J-Dubs, because too many things could happen by then. GR, I just can't bench Hurts if he's playing. I can't. But I think that Herbert's going to have a really strong finish to the year. I just can't bench Hurts if he's out there, man. I can't. We got you, Eduardo. It's a really good call. I mean, really good plays there for sure. I feel like A.J. Brown is due for a dud week. He usually has some, so that wouldn't really surprise me. But the Eagles, you know, just have no reason to not keep balling right now. So it wouldn't surprise me, but he does get the Bears. So have a future on Philly, San Fran, and the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, all those look pretty good right now. So luckily for me, Devontae is the Pats, Amon-Ra, Sauce Gardner, so I have a shot. Let's go, bro. Let's go. All right, guys, we're going to go to wrap it up. It's getting late, and I got to do some editing. I got to do some chores. And, yeah. So I just wanted to hop on and talk to you guys, see how many of you guys made fantasy playoffs, see how things were looking for you guys. Looks like mostly positive reports, very few negatives. And even if you guys didn't make it in one league, made it in your other league. So looks like you guys killed it this year. We got 3 or 4 weeks, guys. We just got to grind this thing out. We got to make some tough calls. We're going to make some really good calls. We're going to make some wrong calls. That's the way it goes, man. But I'm going to do everything I can to help you guys win your fantasy championship and win throughout the fantasy playoffs. Sometimes it just boils down to luck. Sometimes it's just absolutely, it's craziness, right? Like my team that didn't make the playoffs because I needed another team to lose, and the team that I needed to lose had Kyler Murray against them, who I needed to get 10 points tonight, and he got 0.66 because he got hurt. You know, fantasy is a weird thing, man. So I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for the fantasy playoffs. I'm excited to help you guys through the fantasy playoffs. And let's get it, man. This season has been so much fun, man. It's been so great. I'm just thankful for everything you guys have done for the channel and for the community this year. And let's get it, guys. Week 15. I can't believe it's here. Fantasy playoffs. Let's go, man. So I appreciate you guys so much, man. I appreciate you guys coming out, talking fantasy, keeping the fantasy conversation going in the chat. And thank you guys for all the fantasy questions. And let me know how you guys did in your respective leagues. Let's go, man. Mr. Curly Wolf, you're the best, man. GR, have a good night as well. J-Dubs, I'll see you in the toilet bowl, my dude. KJ, who's the running back to pick up in New England? Was Stevenson hurt? Pierre Strong for sure. I mean, if Damian Harris is available, you can go for Harris, but Harris and or Strong, both are going to get production if Ramondre Stevenson's out. And Strong looked really, really good tonight. And there's possibility with Harris being banged up like he has been, that Strong overtakes that #1 spot if Ramondre's out. So I might go, I mean, the floor play would be Harris. The upside play is Pierre Strong. So. All right, guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button on the way out. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to join our Discord. Follow us on Instagram. Check out all the links down below. And I will be on tomorrow. We've got must-start defenses out by Steven. Must-start kickers will drop tomorrow. I've got must-start running backs coming to you guys tomorrow. Going to kind of change things up going into the fantasy playoffs. Going to focus on must-start players at each position and try to bang out a little bit more content for you guys this week, and try for majority of the week to stream a little bit longer in place of having to work on that content so we can do more fantasy Q&A. So week 15's here, guys. Let's get it. Let's go. Fantasy playoffs. It's time. Pressure's on. So that'll do it, man. Love you guys. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Everyone have a great Tuesday. Everyone be safe. And that'll do it for tonight's stream. So with that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And